Hey, welcome to Casa Cooking. Today I got a really nostalgic dish, Gungo peas or pigeon peas stew. I love these peas. Peas or beans, some places called peas, some places called beans. I love them. They're really hard to find here in Sweden. You need to try it. If you want to buy them, look for in Caribbean shops is your best bet. So let's get cracking. Here I got lamb. I'm going to do with lamb. You can use beef, you can use chicken, you can use any meat that you prefer. I'm a big fond of lamb, so that's what I'm going to use. Try to use the tough cuts, don't use the nice cuts for this stew. I will use a pressure cooker, as you can see. So let's go. Here I got 3 garlic cloves. I'm going to put some wine, white wine preferably, and some bayleaf. And let's make the marination. Hand blender. Pour it over. Good amount of salt. Mix it nicely. Voila. This is better if you do it one day before, so the garlic gets really into the meat and the salt, and it gets a really nice result in the end. So I got one in the fridge that I've done earlier. So here it is. Voila. So now I'm going to just brown the meat a little bit. I'm using here coconut oil. You can use any oil you want. One of my preferred oils is coconut. I also like palm oil. In African cooking, we use a lot of palm oil. All right, while that is browning, I'm going to prepare the vegetables now. So I'll start with peeling some carrots. Voila. I'm using plantain. This is my choice. I love plantain instead of potatoes in my stews. For this recipe I will use just one plantain, cutting roughly. One cassava, a small one. This is how I like to peel my cassava. You can do it like this, or You can peel it back. Like this. In the center of the cassava you got this little string that you have to remove. It's not very pleasant if you get stuck on your teeth. Yeah, looks like this, a little string. I cut the cassava these kind of pieces, nice chunks. And also the carrots. You can smell the meat getting nicely brown. So I like to cook the cassava separately because I'm using a pressure cooker, and if I put it on a pressure cooker you might get it overcooked and it gets all mushy, so I like to control it, the cooking time. I can cook it outside and see it when it's at the right time and just pull it off and leave it on the side. I find doing this way I get better control in the end result, so I would recommend you do the same. Cassava is on the stove. Okay, the meat has got a nice sizzle, it's got a nice browning, so I'm just going to remove it and then start to do the middle part. And then you got this kind of black in the bottom. Don't worry, that's going to be flavor. Got one white onion and we dice it small, quite small. Voila. And then we'll add with the carrots into the pot. Okay. Now we're just going to let it saute for a little while. While that is sauteing, I'll open one of tomato puree. Once the onion gets nice and translucent, we'll add the tomato and then the meat and then some water, and we'll start the cooking process. Okay, the onion looks just quite ready. Add the tomato. Let the tomato cook for around 3 minutes. The tomato has been cooking, so now I'll just add the meat. It's been cooking for around 3 to 4 minutes. Be careful not to burn. So I just add the meat and then I'll put the cover on. I'll let it cook. With Portugal we say refogar for around another 5 minutes. So it has been 5 minutes. So now I'll add the Gungo peas or the pigeon beans. They've been soaked overnight. It's very important that you soak them. They take ages to cook. If you don't have a pressure cooker, I would strongly recommend you get one. It will save you a lot of time to cook any kinds of peas. Myself, I don't like to buy from a can or a jar. I prefer always to make them from scratch. So here I got 2 cups of peas straight in a pot. Then water. Put water enough to cover it and a little bit more. Because we add quite a bit of salt into the marination of the meat and garlic, I didn't add any garlic in the beginning. But now I will add just a tiny bit more of garlic. Just keep in mind the garlic you add in the meat is going to be inside of the stew as well. Mix it. Taste it. Yeah, it's quite bland. So it needs a bit more of salt. And also keep in mind that this will reduce. So if you add too much salt when there's a lot of water, you may feel like there's not enough salt, but once the sauce thickens up with the tomato and with the carrot, and most of the water evaporate, it can get really salty. So keep that in mind. And I'm also adding 1 chicken cube. Bam! And I think that's about it for now. Now I'm just going to cover it up and let it cook for around 30 minutes, and then the last minutes I'll put the plantain and I'll put the cabbage. So let's just wait for this to happen and then we get back. So we're going to prepare a bell pepper by dicing it and throwing it inside a pot. Straight after, dice some spring onion. We're using a medium size to small. Dice it roughly and straight into the pot. And lastly, we got the plantain here on the side that we prepared earlier. And throw it into the stew as well and mix it well, making sure that the last ingredients are well coated inside the stew. Put the lid and tighten it up. Being a pressure cooker, you have to make sure it's not leaking out pressure so you get the best results. And that's it. Then we just cook for 45 minutes, and once the beans and meat are soft, remove the pot from the heat and add some freshly chopped kale to finish it off. Yeah, it was a pleasure to cook this recipe for you. This is one of my absolute childhood favorites. It's packed with nutrients, so eat it and really enjoy it. We serve it with rice, you can eat it by itself. Yeah, I can't wait to just dig in. See you soon.